Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. Could XRP go to 50 cents by Christmas? Is there a very big BNB scandal regarding a crypto called Myth? What are the conclusions in the Ripple versus SEC case? What could they be? What's going on with Sam Bankman-Fried right now being in jail? There are a couple of troubles with that. So what's that? And what's the Senate right now doing in the crypto space? That and more we're going to be talking about in this video. So make sure that you press that like button and enjoy the show. So first of all, some drama. Things are interesting. Together at last, first photo emerges of jailed fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried with ex-girlfriend Caroline Ellison, as prosecutors mold charges against her, and he faces at least 2 months in prison. But apparently, it is an unfit for humanity Bahamian prison. And that's made me think, does anybody deserve inhumane circumstances? No, because it's literally inhumane. But what I basically read from these articles is that they're not really trying to be all too helpful with his vegan diet. And apparently they're not being too accommodative with that. He apparently also can't receive visitors due to the restrictions at the jail, a site which the warden once described as not fit for humanity. And yeah, again, I can't say that it is pretty, but honestly, if the lawyers, what it says right here, if this is true, if the lawyers for Bankman-Fried asked the judge Tuesday to release him on a $250 cash bail, that would be pretty insulting. With the former FTX mogul citing his vegan diet and his apparent attention deficit disorder (ADD) diagnosis, requiring him to take medications as reasons to turn him loose. What? Now again, I am no lawyer, not a judge either, not a legal advisor anyway, but these are not the best reasons in my opinion. Vegan, not a good reason to get out of jail, free card. ADD, my opinion, also not a good get out of jail free card, but it was worth a try. Then again, if a lot of this stuff is true about them having to take out their poop with a bucket, yeah, it ain't pretty. But all I can say about that one is, I'll get sad for him if it turns out that he didn't do anything wrong. I'm putting some very big bunny ears right there, some very big emphasis on the if. Because we all believe that this guy's just absolute garbage, and so if he has to scoop up his poop with a bucket, well, he should go get in the bucket himself. I'm just joking. I just personally think that if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. There's probably a lot of people in that jail right there that didn't deserve it a quarter as much as he deserves it, but hey, that's just my opinion. Let's talk about the 4 conclusions that could happen in the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. I've talked about this before, but I still want to make it a little bit more clear to the people what exactly lawyers are thinking about this. So this comes from Jeremy Hogan. We have Ripple winning, we have Ripple losing, we have a draw, and we have an unexpected ruling. All of these are quite obvious, right? But in his first prediction, he noted that Ripple could win if the summary judgment reads that XRP was not sold as a security, and he noted that the basis for the prediction was that Ripple has no legal obligations to the purchaser of XRP. Alright, I want to keep it quick. In his second prediction, Hogan cautioned that despite the public perception that Ripple will win, the company stands a significant chance of actually losing. He noted that the chance of Ripple losing stands at almost 30%. He was joking a little bit with these percentages, but okay. He suggested that the judge could rule in favor of the SEC if evidence by the regulator proves that Ripple used the sales from XRP to build its business of powering cross-border payments. Quote, the one thing the SEC did a good job of in its earlier briefs is laying out all the statements, emails, and YouTube videos of various Ripple employees talking about the price of XRP. I mean, they had 8 years worth of work from. Judge Torres would look at all those statements and agree with the SEC. Again, that could potentially happen. He does, however, also point out that even if they do lose, Ripple will still stay afloat and they'll just have to move out of the US. Again, like I stated before, there's also a chance of a draw, which could be a win in either direction just depending on perspective, which basically would lead Judge Torres to split the baby and decides that early sales of XRP were sales of securities, but at some point the sales lose that designation and become a non-security sale. And last but not least, just something that we didn't expect or couldn't have expected, just something completely on the opposite side, as of course that's a possibility as well. But I want to quickly talk about, can XRP get to 50 cents by Christmas? I've seen comments like this quite often in the comments section. People asking Dusty, so what about the price? When Moon, when Lambo? Just realize this for yourself. We've been holding XRP, a lot of us on the channel, for a very long amount of years already. And I'm going to tell you guys honestly that 50 cents right now would honestly hurt me more than 25 cents per XRP would. Because right now I'm accumulating XRP like a madman based partially on the probability that we just described to you, right? The fact that there's a higher likelihood of Ripple winning the case. And so the higher the price goes right now, the higher my average buy cost is going to have to be, which is negative. Again, if you're a firm believer in the longer term of it all, you'd rather have a lower price than a higher price by Christmas or by anywhere along those lines, because that way you can buy more. Now, am I encouraging anybody to buy? Well, let me say it like this. I personally think that if we had this choice time and time again, if we invested every single time, so the choice here being you get an opportunity to buy into a crypto in a lawsuit similar to the one that Ripple is in right now, and you get to buy every single time. If you do that time and time and time again, you'll turn $1,000 into 10 million, because a lot of those cases would be won. Let's say about at least more than 50%. And the moment that it does, the spike is going to be severe, in my own opinion, which will make it all worth it. And I honestly believe any single dollar we put in right now is worth at least $10 in the next 3 years or so, my personal expectation. I believe, again, in those Bitcoin halving cycles as to where the prices start to pump. And so for that reason as well, the long story short about that one is it basically leaves quite a lot of room for us to increase in price still over the next couple of months, actually kind of year and a half or so, as that is usually what Bitcoin has done, go in some similar pattern as this. It's honestly not that crazy if we stay in a little bit of a bear market for a good while here. They're predicting Bitcoin to hit $11,000. This was back in August, and we can see that we did actually go a significant, let's say about $7,000, maybe even $8,000 lower than the price that it was at that point, which is roughly around $20-something thousand. And I believe the lows that we hit at that point was 17.7, and I think the lows that we hit a little while ago was 15 point something. But basically, once you understand this mindset of, hey, it can take a couple of years for things to do really, really well, then you also start to notice that, okay, on the short term, again, guys, I use platforms like Bybit and BitGet, of which links are down below, to trade crypto every single day. And for those things, yeah, a quick shut up to 50 cents could be juicy, because that's a 20% plus gain with 10x leverage, for example. That could be 200% on one of our trades. That is amazing. But over on a little bit of a longer scheme, I'd rather have the price as low as possible to be able to accumulate more. And you have to understand that the behemoths are doing this with Bitcoin now anyway. And I personally would suggest as well that they're doing this right now with XRP. Again, it makes a whole lot of sense that the guys like BlackRock have literally stated these institutions want this technology. They want to be involved and they want to buy in. We're allowing them to buy in through our facilities, and that's how we're making partnerships. Managers in the world, they've literally said that their institutional clients demand it, they need it, and they're facilitating options for them to purchase. But the price has not shot up significantly since that point. It's only gone down, kind of like dribbling down. The fact that's happening is just mesmerizing, just mind-boggling. And so for that reason alone, I think there's some very heavy manipulation going on, of which a lot has to do with the Senate. A lot has to do on a higher up level, as the regulation is there. These guys have it all laid out. Don't question it. I personally think they have it all laid out, but they're just waiting for the right time so that they can make the best out of every opportunity and potentially keep the most amount of power, like we've seen with Gary Gensler. Again, this is my own thought process, but that was making a lot of sense. The reason I'm also stating this is because it makes a whole lot of sense that the moment that XRP gets the clarity, a lot of other basically decisions that were left on nothing right now are going to all of a sudden quickly be made. And from that point on forward, obviously, all these major institutions which already wanted to buy Bitcoin and potentially Ethereum, even though it's not properly regulated, okay, are also going to be able to buy XRP. And that's actually a really big thing that people are forgetting. If we're taking a step back and asking, so what exactly do we need for XRP to all of a sudden go to that 50 cent realm, get that 28 or so % boost all the way to 50 cents. What exactly is necessary? Well, I'd say all that's necessary is for Bitcoin to also get a surge along these lines. So that would basically mean if Bitcoin goes to $20,000 and it gets a close above that, there's a very high probability that XRP will also be able to surge towards the top. realms. But the majority of these major financial decisions, like the ECB's decision, the FOMC meeting, and the inflation data, have all already come out. And those are the bigger factors that make crypto pump or dump. Sam Bankman-Fried has also already been arrested, so there's not really something crazy he can say at the Senate. I guess one of the big things we're waiting for in terms of decisions is just any new big thing coming from Sam Bankman-Fried being arrested and them diving into the FTX debacle. But honestly, it's a pretty quiet time. And I'm honestly thinking that one of the only things that can all of a sudden pump Bitcoin or dump Bitcoin severely is another big scandal or some regulatory piece. Like I've seen, for example, now over on Twitter. Some cryptocurrency project that I don't know says this. Today, Binance has announced that it will delist their crypto. As part of the listing, Binance required a 20,000 BNB deposit. It says 200, but the records show 20, which was never returned. On behalf of the Mithril community, we ask CZ to return this deposit so that Mithril may continue to operate, which is peculiar. Mithril has had a long history of working with Binance since 2018 as the first token to list on BNB Beacon Chain, BEP2 network, donated to Binance charity, and collaborated on other Binance initiatives based on partnership and informal requests. Given that Binance has unilaterally decided to end this partnership, we respectfully ask to have our 200,000 BNB deposit returned. Now, that is strange because regardless of the value of BNB at the time of 2018, that's a whole lot of money. And I wonder why they would have had to place such a big deposit. It just seems like this was the fee for listing, which was, regardless of how you view it, a lot of money. Because at all the time here, it was, let's say, about $10, right? We're talking 2018, not 17. So that's about $10, meaning that's about $2 million that they had to put down as a deposit. However, you got to understand, the reason that this is happening is because they've been labeled a scam, is they've not done anything, that's what's being said, over the last 2 years, and now can't come crying saying they've gotten delisted. There's many theories about what exactly happened, but if it eventually comes out that there was some sort of scandal or so, and Binance all of a sudden kicks the bucket, we saw Kevin O'Leary yesterday, or 2 days ago, testifying in front of Congress saying he thinks Binance took down FTX. If that little spiral continues on and maybe some crazy news gets published about that, yeah, that could be pretty detrimental. That could single-handedly put a little dent in crypto on the short term. And like CZ said, the outflows in the crypto space are already pretty insane, and they're not looking as if they're going to stop on the short term. And so the bigger question should be, what exactly can bring the crypto space back up? It's certainty. And that certainty will not come washing on all of a sudden. It will take time, people need to build, and people need to rebuild the faith that they have lost through things like FTX, things like Luna. And for that to happen, I'd personally think we need a continuous time frame here without any major scandals. A little hack here and there of a DeFi platform is doable, but if any of these major exchanges still crumble and fall, this negativity is like a negativity spiral of more negativity and more negativity. So the moment that the cycle is broken, which is not yet, because even right now you can find news articles of exchanges still looking for money owed to them by, for example, Genesis or potentially FTX. We need to get out of this negativity loop, then get ourselves a little bit of time to actually build back up that faith, and potentially that will again coincide with the Bitcoin halving cycles perfectly, and then we can start rushing back up there. But guys, I'm still extremely bullish on crypto. You guys know already, I buy crypto every single thing a day. I think it's the best thing to do, as I think it's the best investment that I can place, but always keep some money on the side for in case crypto dips hard, and always keep looking for different ways to make income. That's what I always say. But yeah, that was it. Make sure you press the like button if you enjoyed it. See you guys again in another one.